This episode is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 seller of games and gaming accessories. And GatheringMagic.com, the #1 resource for Magic the Gathering news and articles.
Hi, I'm Fabio Ashby, and this is Nicol Bolas. So this is Nicol Bolas, the Elder Dragon. Obviously, we know him as the notorious bad guy of Magic, and since it's Elder Dragon Highlander, I decided to make a deck about the baddie and make it about stuff he does, which is general nefarious evil. So again, he is a 7/7 flyer that whenever he touches someone's face, they have to discard their hand. You have to pay Grixis to keep him in play every turn. So even if he comes into play, he's pretty good. So we're going to start off with some lands. You have some swamps, some islands, some mountains, and then we get into the non-basics. So I don't have a whole lot of money, so a lot of my mana base isn't very expensive. So I kind of find ways to add the colors I need without breaking the bank. So I've got Vivid Creek, Crumbling Necropolis, which is great because it adds 1 of any, Rupture Spire, Pseudo City Brass, Dimir Aqueduct, Tainted Isle, which is great for getting that extra color with just swamps, Catacomb, Rakdos Carnarium, Blood Crypt, Dragonskull Summit, Izzet Boilerworks, a terrible bad river, and one card that actually everyone knows and loves and hates is Maze of It. And then Bojuka Bog, which is amazing. So now we get into the creatures. So we all know we love recasting our spells, especially since our spells are awesome. So obviously you take a Snapcaster Mage. I have an Echo Mage because I love to copy spells, and it's even better because you can copy your opponent's spells and more oftentimes than they can. So it makes them puts them in a bad position to try and cast power spells. Clone. Why? Because he used to be able to copy other people's legends and kill them, but since that rule's going away, still, I can get a copy of your awesome legend, most likely less than you paid for it, and it's the same guy, so it's pretty good. Izzet Chronarch, you gotta regrow those spells. Mulldrifter, obviously awesome card draw. Shriekmaw, removal on a stick. Vesuvan Doppelganger, another great one to copy, so when it comes into play, you copy something with a really neat ability, and then you copy something else that has a better ability once it hits play, so it's always just the best creature on the board. Wrexial, the Risen Deep, the guy who apparently never can get through. Usually when he hits the table, everyone answers him immediately, or someone does, because what he does is ridiculous. Island Walk and Swamp Walk, 2 of the most favorite colors here in our group, are blue and black, so he is going to get through if he can attack. And casting spells out of their graveyard is always really good. Guile, I counter your spells, they become my spells. Your stuff becomes my stuff. Chancellor of the Spires, hey, I really like that spell in your graveyard, I'm going to cast it. Djinn Illuminatus, because casting your spells more than once is better than not. Diluvian Primordial, this guy's amazing. Really, he can cast any spell out of any opponent's graveyard when he comes into play. And so you can copy things like other removal spells, tutors. One of my favorite things to do with this guy is take someone else's Cruel Ultimatum and put it back at their face. Mindleech Mass, 6/6 Trampler that takes your opponent's spells away from him and gives them to you. Spellburst, because you all hate that guy. Repeal, you have to have some bounce. Brainstorm, gotta have some draw. Gotta have some removal and terminate. We get to Fork. Hey, that's a really cool spell you're casting. I think I'll do it too. Remand. Diabolic Edict, a little bit of control. Negate, which is actually surprisingly good in EDH because a lot of the big threats that you need to deal with are non-creatures, so it's a real cheap way to just deal with it. Undermine. Reiterate. I like that spell you're casting. I'm going to do it too. And every single time you do a spell from now on. Reins of Power. You really want to have fun in the combat phase? Cast this. Just try to figure it out. Factor Fiction, because card draw is better than not. Wild Ricochet. Hey, it's a cool spell. I'm going to do it too. Spin into Myth. Obviously the best general removal spell probably in blue to permanently deal with that pesky general. Bituminous Blast, because 4 damage is good and additional free cards is even better. Spelljack. This you want to save for people's generals, because when they're in your RFG zone, people can't cast them. So you pretty much steal someone's general for the rest of the entire game. Or another really cool spell. Either way you win. Gather Specimens. I'm going to cast my really expensive general. I think he wants to be on my side instead. Now we're into the sorceries. Ponder lets you dig for cards that you need. Shuffle your deck if you need to. Rise and Fall. Good way to cheat in EDH is run more than 100 cards. Usually this one will be Rise though. I'll pick up a Mulldrifter out of my from my graveyard and make them pick up one of their guys. That's a huge advantage on 2 mana. Because removal's still good. Ditto. This one is another card. Hey, let's go see what you have. I'm going to go take it. So you can get all kinds of crazy things. Even though you may only be 3 colors, pretty much everyone may run a Soul Ring or some kind of really good artifact that you might need. I don't think this has ever been a bad card when I cast it. Because I don't have Damnation. Bribery. Why play good cards when your opponents will play them for you? So they're in their deck, just go get them. Because when your opponent casts something, it's better when it's on your side of the table and attacking and then dying. This one hits any graveyard, so you can steal their good guys that you've already stolen and then they had to deal with, so it's just compact card advantage. Stolen Identity. This one obviously puts a token in the battlefield and you can cipher it to whatever. Usually you cipher it to the most bad token that's on there, or the bad creature that's on the board, and then just make more of them. Because this is Grixis, Gruul Ultimatum is an obvious play. Knowledge Exploitation. Because now I don't have to cast your spell, I can just play it directly out of your library without casting a spell. So this is pretty much a demonic tutor for their library. Thieves Auction. When you always want to steal that one extra creature that's on the board and mess up everyone's lands, this is the best way to do it. Insurrection. Because then you take everyone's creatures and beat them over the face with it. Elixir of Immortality keeps you from dying to mill and other random junk. Relic, because you always need to blow people's graveyards. You got some mana rocks, because you're mana really hungry. Helm of Possession. Recurring creature control. So you take their creature, then you sack their creature to take their other creature, and then you can untap it and then play another creature, and just go fun with all of their creatures. Grinning Totem, another demonic tutor for their deck. If you can cast it, you can play it. So if you have any of the colors in here, then it's always a great card. Again, why play stuff when other people will play it for you? Vinrose Disc, gotta blow its stuff up. Soothsaying, probably one of the underrated blue uncommons. This allows you to top, but not just the top 3, allows you to get even deeper and shuffle if you don't like what's on top. So this is definitely an amazing, amazing blue enchantment. Phyrexian Arena, because mages want to draw cards. Leyline of Anticipation, because instant speed stuff is better than not instant speed stuff. For example, taking someone's creature with Slave of Bolas during their end step, that way you can still have it. Casting things like control magics and people's others per turn, that way they attack into their own creatures. This is fantastic. Mind Control, again, why should I play creatures when you'll play better creatures for me? Future Sight, probably the most broken blue enchantment. Enslave, hey, I'm going to take your creature and you're going to lose life for it because I want you to. Confiscate, probably the oldest magic other than control magic, just to take anything. Volition Reigns. And again, another Confiscate, I'll take that. And if it's tapped, it's untapped now. Hooray! Take Possession, because I need to do this and I don't need you to be able to respond to it. And then the big Mamma Jammin himself, the Planeswalker, Nicol Bolas. Again, you get him on the table with a little bit early with some mana acceleration, and he is fun times for you and sad times for your opponents. So again, the main theme of this deck was to take your opponent's stuff, that way you don't have to play it. So really, this deck is only as good as the deck it's playing, but again, it's a ton of fun to watch your opponent get frustrated when you're beating them over the head with their own creatures.
Thanks for watching CMDR Decks, and don't forget to subscribe and favorite.